everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie. If you are new, it's a good time to be new because I just changed my background. It was all Easter and now it is spring. I'll switch it around. I get bored, so the set behind us will move through spring because there isn't any real holidays until Memorial Day, so I'll probably get bored. Alright, so this is a past life reading. I haven't done one in a really long time, but I don't do a standard past life reading, as in I'm not just going to tell you about your past life. I'm going to tell you about your past life. I'm going to break it down, but I'm doing a compare and contrast from your life now and from your life then to see what attributes are still present, what lessons are you continuously hitting or having to learn. I'm here to teach you. I'm not just here to entertain you, and digging into your past life and seeing repetitive things and understanding how you tick is very helpful to your spiritual journey. So I'm going to try to get back into these. Just not a lot of people want to open that can on their past life. I've seen some pretty horrific shit about my own. It's not always sunshine and roses. I am rocking my Namaste shirt today. I bought mad shirts from my channel a long time ago, but then I got pregnant and I couldn't fit, and now I can, so I'm debuting them one at a time. I have I don't know, at least 15 shirts in there that I have never even worn. The Let It Be, Whisper Words of Wisdom. I think I wore that once, but I never wore it on my channel, I don't think. And I think I've worn this one before, Namaste, but it was a long ass time ago. Also, I don't know, is this your first time seeing me without any makeup at all on this channel? I don't know. I have lip gloss on. That was as much as I felt like trying today. Alright. With these, I'm shuffling. I'm trying to get some precognitive energy going. I like to, I'm going to put this face down. Let me shuffle a bit more. I like to pick out 3 cards to test myself. What I think might come out. I'm hearing biblical. So there'll definitely be something about biblical times. Or persecution. I'm going to say biblical or persecution. I'm seeing Celtic and Egypt. And I'm seeing the train card. But I don't know if that's transportation. Let's see. This is, by the way, the Past Life Oracle deck. So let me, just one more time before we get into it. So biblical or persecution, Celtic, Egypt, and the train card. I don't know if that's travel or transportation in this deck. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I played with this one. Ugh, why do they always go to the floor? Galactic. Galactic Egypt. Bam! Right out with Egypt. I was feeling that strong. So yes, hello, my fellows. I was your pharaoh, a few times. Let's see. Hatshepsut was my lineage. She is one of my guides. Yes. So I feel like you're, I saw the most in my past lives about Egypt, so maybe that's why you're called. I learned a lot about the history just in my past life visions, and then of course you dive into it and you learn. I was hooked about it the first day in school it called to my soul, and I knew then that I was there once. You know what I mean? Vows popped to me, so I'm probably gonna have a love life situation going, or this could be like a monk or a nun. Oh my god, I still got it, guys. I still got it. So that's, what's the other one? Persecution or biblical in Celtic, right? Fire. Farm. So in Egyptian, you were somebody who, in Egyptian times, I'm sorry, you were there long before trains. Let me clarify. I just saw this card as transformation. I feel like you were like a nomad, but the Nile is being pulled to me. Like the river Nile, it had seasons. You could only grow certain stuff, and you kind of had to move down the river due to flooding, and I feel like that was your thing. Like you understood the Nile, like how to plant, and there was a great famine because the Nile like flipped the script and it dried up, or it like was over flooding, and you know the stories of the Nile filling with blood. There's been a lot of bad energy associated with the Nile River. N-I-L-E, not Nile the singer. Oh my God, these young bucks. I was going on about Nile the river, like the river in Egypt. And this young buck thought I was talking about Nile from One Direction. And I just like, did you not hear me about fishing? When have you ever seen Nile fish? Like, what? Do they not cover this in school anymore? I don't know. That's funny though. I just want to throw it in. I just thought about that. Just like, ran in my head. But, maybe your name was Nile, like that, because I just feel like I'm just seeing the river, man. So I don't know if you were named after it or you just like lived on it, farmed on it, was trying to like figure out why things weren't going right. Asia Pop too. Galactica, you are a starseed. You've been here before. Phobias and knighthood. Ooh. Yes, this is the phobias I was talking about Egypt. Remember, you know, when the water turned red and like the crops are dying and the fish all floated and everyone's like, oh my God, the gods are angry. Because they don't understand science back then. So I feel like you were called to try to figure this out. You probably were like a monk or a priest, somebody very connected to the divine that like traveled from place to place, somebody with a title I feel like associated with religion and not like war. I feel like you worked with, I feel farming is here because you worked with famine. You were trying to figure out why the crops weren't growing, what the hell was going on with the water, because people were dying. Greco-Roman, yeah, so this is definitely before trains. A mother? So you could have been in the feminine energy, or you could have wife with children, or you had children. Forgiveness. Spirituality and religion. So definitely like monk. Biblical angels, yeah. And wisdom. That's where the biblical comes in. You were a psychic medium. You connected with spirits. The spirits were trying to tell you how to fix. They were trying to feed families. People were starving to death, getting sick from the water. Like, you were an early scientist. I love it. Anything else? Health, yeah. Backing it up. You were trying to save lives. You were trying to cure famine and disease and clean the water up. I don't know why I'm like water. It's like, we need to clean the Nile. I don't know. So into my vibes right now, but all right. That's past life stuff, so let's look at your life now. For just a second, we're going to be popping back and forth. Compared to that, so let's think about who you were as a person. You were very associated to your religion. You were a bit of a nomad. You knew your shit. You knew how to grow. You knew how to grow food. You knew more than the average person. You were trying to help feed people. You were trying to help cure disease. You're trying to help save your country and your people. And you traveled up and down the Nile because everybody was hungry. Like nothing was growing. So let's see about you now. We have support and light and love. You are still a light worker. You're still very gifted. environmentalists. Look at you, still out here. You're still very spiritual. You're still trying to save the planet. You're still trying to clean up water. I'm getting ocean vibes. I'm just feeling that there's so much garbage in the sea. You're still the same person. Why is the water dirty? We need to clean it. You were just like that with the Nile. But it's not just about the water. You are the person back in the day, everyone was scoffing at you when you were trying to say, the Nile feeds everything. If the Nile's polluted, nothing's going to grow that's healthy. And then the animals are going to die and we're going to die. And it all stems from the Nile because we eat from it and we drink from it and we need the Nile. You are literally doing the same thing with the ocean. We need the ocean. We need seafood. Plant life is dying. Storms are getting worse. You're literally on a mission to save Earth. I feel like this is definitely your purpose. I love it though. Let's talk about like who you were as a person. Let's get some deets about you. Oh, actually, wait. Let's stick with the job thing. Let's see what comes out. This is look at this popped right to the fucking farmer's market. So definitely trying to get food out. Let's just see for fun shits and giggles. Back then, even though these jobs might not have existed, it tells me a little bit about what else you would have done if you did other stuff. Fire department is popping, so I feel like you were helping with like flooding and literal fires, because back then like fires were really scary. You know, there was no fire department to come and help you, and you lost everything, and it would spread from like one house to the other. You know, they just had buckets. They didn't have hoses. You know what I mean? One fire could take out everybody's house. So fires were serious. So I feel like you were some kind of like early firefighter. Look at you. You're so good. Saving the planet. Saving the people. Anything else about the past that we should talk about for this reading? Vet. So you definitely helped with the animals. Like I was saying, you were trying to tell the people that, you know, the Nile River fed us, not just the fish in it, but it fed the animals that you hunted, because they came to drink from it and they came to eat from it, and they had to live around it and be sustained by the Nile, or you would have nothing to hunt. Like you were trying to explain. But at the same time, I think like these are really early times. Like people didn't care about, you know, being humane about killing animals. They were hungry, you know. People were dying. Like they would just slaughter animals. Like there was no PETA back then, and I feel like you were the early PETA. Like, all right, I know we have to eat, but do we have to whip them? Do we have to beat them? Like I hate walking around hearing these fucking horses cry and these cows cry because we treat them like shit. Like we depend on these animals for our food. The least we could do is treat them with some goddamn respect around here. I feel like I'm vibing for your early, older stuff. Like, clearly we all spoke differently then in different languages, but that was your vibe. Like, I'm sick of this. You're polluting the Nile. You're not taking care of stuff, and you're mean to animals. EMT, saving lives. Again, just backing up that people were dying from, like, pollutants in the water, fatigue, famine, you know, being out in the elements. You were a natural born healer. You were a natural born leader, and the only thing you knew to do was action. So you might not have been like somebody with an official title, but people loved and respected you. You were a leader of your community. If somebody was sick, they like ran to you like, my so-and-so's sick, can you come and help? Or I can't get my crops to grow. We're going to starve this winter. What do I do? Can you help? Like you kept things afloat. You could have been like an early mayor, like an early governor even. Doesn't have to be like pharaoh status, but wherever you lived, those people depended on you. And I feel like you traveled a lot, so you were very respected. So I feel like eventually your name got spread because, oh, my village, everybody was getting sick and dying, and we couldn't get the crops to grow. And so came, and he did his studies, and he figured out what the problem was, and he told us what to do, and it worked out. And he can talk to God, the gods, and the gods favor him, and you should, or her, and you should go invite her or him to your village, and they'll figure it out. They're very smart. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's why you moved around a lot. Like, people were desperate. There's a lot of chaos going on, and you did something about it. You had the knowledge, the inkling to do something about it. And if you couldn't figure it out, it's like you stayed until you did, even if it took months, years. So let's talk about now. What jobs are popping for you now? Politician, stocks, bonds, and accounting. Again, with that same like governor, mayor, leader, definitely wanting to just have better and do better for the little guys. You're still fighting for the underdog, the poor people, which is beautiful. And I feel like stocks, bonds, and accounting, you were just very good at navigating future. Like, back then, money was crops and trade. So you were protecting the future investment by making sure you still had food to grow and fish to catch. So now, we don't depend on that so much. We depend on money. So you're doing the same thing. Like, you're good at building up future money and assets for your people. Anything else about now? Welding. Okay, so I feel like this is just expressing, like, think about what welders do. They make sure two things come together and stick, and it stays. You are here on this planet to, one, help the planet have a better foundation for the future, as in help with the pollution, help with all the crap going on that needs to stop. But you're here to help animals, and you're helping people see the importance of science, of global warming. Like, everything you do is for the betterment of the future. That's why you're here. And that's why you were there then. So let's get a little bit of details about you, personality, looks. Start getting a little bit about your life here back then. Where were you from? Like, what other than Egypt? And, like, did you travel outside of Egypt? Did you get married? Were you short? Were you tall? Were you fat? Were you skinny? This is where we're getting all the juicy deets. One more. I haven't used these in a while. Ooh, my nose is itching. This is going to be a good one. No education is popping. So you're self-taught, which a lot of people were back then. There was no school system in ancient Egypt. If you wanted to learn about religion, you had to study with somebody who was like a monk or priest, or like whatever. Oh my God, my nose is going crazy. If you wanted to be a doctor, you had to work right with a healer. Like, there was no medical school yet. I'm not saying that they weren't smart and they didn't teach, because obviously we had to teach to evolve, but you had to live in your trade or be born into your trade or get someone to mentor you. Or figure it out yourself. I think you started very meager and poor as well. You were wise beyond your years. Yeah. You had no education. You had no physical education. All your information came from beyond. You just knew shit. And that's very much, like, people tell me all the time, like, how the fuck do you just know this shit? Like, you didn't pick up a book. I just told you about it. How do you? I'm like, they just download it. I don't know. It's exactly a part of your gift as well. You know exactly when you need to know. And then it dips off. You don't always remember it. You worked in the law. So, yeah, I just feel like you were a politician, to be honest. I definitely got firemen, like police, early police. Like, if somebody was getting hurt, you probably stood up for them. If someone's house is on fire, you were helping them. You were helping them grow food. So, yeah, that's very much like officers, you know what I mean? You were an athlete. So I feel like you made some money in your life. I'm seeing fighting. So I don't know if you were like good with a sword I'm getting masculine energy, but keep in mind that I've seen myself as a man in past life. I've been both men and women. So if you're a woman now, don't matter. This could still be you. Gender changes as you need to learn. As a spiritual person, you need to learn both sides of the fence. In order to do that, you need to be both sides. You know what I mean? And you have different lessons to learn in different genders. That makes you a more well-rounded person for whatever purpose you have. So you could still work in nutrition as well. Dominant, submissive-like relationship, and a peacemaker. So I feel like in life you are very zen, you are very calm, you're very for the people, but you always need a sense of control. I'm getting here, like, you were wise beyond your years, Pops, again. It's like you were so smart, you could never turn your brain off. But I feel like this is like an early OCD, even in like, I don't feel like this is like what we think of a dominant, submissive relationship. I think you were just very particular. I think you were like a clean freak. Germaphobe, early germaphobe. Like you had to have stuff, like you were somebody who studied medicine, so I feel like if you felt somebody was dirty, you would want them to clean themselves. And it's not like you were degrading them, you were showing them to how to properly, like if they were a child and you were a teacher and you were teaching them hygiene. But at the same time, I do think you like that element of control. I think you might have a little bit of a promiscuous streak, and I think you hid that. It's like they saw you as like a big leader. Kind of getting that energy of like you worked hard and you played harder and you like sex and you liked people who let you just do your thing and didn't really like look at your quirks in a certain way. It might be relevant to you now if you're wondering why you're so weird, like why you're picky in the bedroom, or why maybe you are a dominant submissive and that's just something that you continue through your life. Maybe there's a lesson in that for you, like why do you need control? That's what gives you, a dominant person needs the control to find release. Their world isn't calm enough to be able to focus on sex or anything else when they're not in control. Also, having power over something is sexy to some people. That could be true to you back then and now. Nothing wrong with it as long as you're not out here like raping people. You know what I mean? You lived in a very big and lovely home in a richer side of your area. You took great pride in your home and had many parties and gatherings with those you loved and worked with throughout your life. So I feel like this is like somebody who grew up with meager beginnings, but like made it big. Like I said, you traveled around, your word spread around that you were helping people, and back then trade and food was money. So if you're helping people grow food and you're helping communities stay alive, they're going to give you the best of the best. I feel like somebody, it's like as you were a nomad, right? So I see you traveling. I feel like as you're like getting older and maybe things are stabilizing and there isn't really like a need in your life to be moving so much, so you find a place where people kind of worship you a little bit and they offer you the best of the best. So of course you're going to stay there. You get the biggest house there, you get a good job, a good position in the community, people respect you, you have people throwing themselves at you. Oh shit, you were a royal. You were in the news in your life. Taught children. So I feel like either you married a royal and became wealthy because of that, or you were a royal but you weren't like the firstborn or the secondborn or the thirdborn. You were like the fifth, sixth, seventh spare. That was like, fuck off. You know what I mean? They didn't really care. And, a lot of times, these type of kids were sent off to fight wars, or they were sent to be monks or priests, and I feel like you took the educational route instead of being a soldier. you had the option of like being a general, because they put you, if you're a royal and they put you into the military, it's not like you're going to go on the front lines. You are the product of a king and queen, even if you're never going to rule. So you're going to get some job in like strategy, or Navy captain, like being on a boat. They're not necessarily going to put you in danger, but they're not necessarily going to protect you either. And I think you looked at all of your options, and you were somebody who was very smart, and you cared about people, and you wanted to stay in your home. So I feel like you found a position where you could kind of stay in your homeland, and you kind of benefited from being the only man around. With a lot of men, the pharaohs in Egypt sent a lot, and a lot of people were slaves as well. So you either could be amongst the elite in life and still get sent off to fight wars, because the pharaoh is always wanting more and needing more, or you grew up poor. Like, I feel like this person, I don't know if you were like just taught to be humble, so you were raised differently. Even though you were rich, it's like your family made sure you lived like a poor experience, or like I said, you were just like way down the list, so you didn't get the best of the best. Like, you got all the hand-me-downs, but you weren't necessarily starving either. Maybe you just saw a lot of poverty as a royal, and you saw your family like kind of being like snobby, like peasants, and you just decided you weren't going to be like that. Either way, I don't know if it's because you were down the list and nobody cared, or if you just made that choice like, no, I don't want to be like you fuckers. Why? You know what I mean? I don't know if you did that. But I feel like you made a lot of news because of what you did. Like I said, you were helping people grow food. You were a symbol of hope. And you were a very sweet person, a very noble person to them. Like, you cared. You taught children how to, I feel like you kind of looked at the people like your peers. Not that it's their fault that they're too stupid to learn, but they were slaves. Like, you saw like what your family as pharaohs did to these people. They didn't get educations. It's not their fault for being smart. So I think you kind of just looked at their kids and like, these ones are young enough where I can like do something with them. So I don't feel like it's because I don't feel like you didn't care about grown-ups. I think you tried to help them too, but you were somebody who understood that the future is the children, and they're the ones that are really going to make the changes. So you taught them about the water and being clean and growing food and the cycles of the Nile. Very, very interesting. Let's see what you got for going on for today, and see if there's any similarities in your life. Overcame a serious injury. That could have been true in both lives. It could be like an inner wound. It doesn't have to be a physical one, like a big loss. Literally just fell over and popped a writer. Maybe you're a writer. Trustworthy. You're still somebody people trust a lot, look up to. The bully. Maybe you're a bit harsh in your approach, or you could have been somebody who's beloved and now looked at as the bully, but you've survived something in your life. Why is bully here? Are you with a bully? Oh dear, there's like a fall from grace here. I think they kind of see you as like money hungry. It doesn't have to, emotional. You wear your heart on your sleeve and you speak your truth, and I feel like, yeah, you've had a rough childhood. You just don't give a shit. You tell people the truth, and a lot of people can't take it. Point blank, period. I don't think they could very well in the past either. But you're very money-based now. I feel like maybe you've become jaded in all these lives. Like, you were such a helper. You were so good, and now there's like a little bit of jaded. Like, I don't feel like you're out here just being like a narcissist, like, fuck everybody, I just want money. But I feel like money drives you more than changing the future. The follower. So dreamer. You might see a lot about your past lives currently. Okay, wait, let me back up. Remember how they said you were in the news in the past? You might be in the news now. You might have a lot of followers. Because I heard followers. So maybe you have a social media platform, and maybe you're out here trying to do good, and you just have a lot of judgy fuckers that just don't understand you. Ooh, the hero pop. So I feel like you still are that humanitarian. Had a good family home, but you lost them young or as a young adult. There's that inner wound. I feel like you lost a parent or a sibling. City life, you could have grew up in a suburban area. Spy, I feel like you're very much like your past family, like you weren't put as a level of importance. So I feel like this is your family. Your family sees you as like money hungry, out for yourself, but that's because how they've kind of left you out in the cold. You've always been witty and smart. You've always kind of seen their bullshit, and you call them on it, at least now. So there could be a lot of family conflict going on, but I feel like this is something you also went through in your past life. Maybe we're getting into the why you went your own way. Strong moral character, yeah. It's like you don't want to concede to your family's way of doing things. You're still a healer. This is very true for spiritual people. Like, I grew up in the Catholic Church. Everything I do, they think is, Satan shit. And I don't ever do nothing in the dark. I don't support the dark at all. I would never. I have a strong moral character for God. But people don't understand why we go left sometimes. So I feel like a lot of people in your life have dipped. Like, they dipped in the past because you lived your life one way until you spiritually woke up and you said, this is what I want to do with my life, and you followed it and you're vocal about it, and they just don't understand. I feel like this is lived in Europe, grew up poor. So, okay, maybe in this life you lived in Europe or grew up poor, and now you could be like you were past life. Like, you could be doing good now, and you had a meager beginning, and it took losing all those people that kind of like judged you. I feel like that's the similar path here. Like, in your past, you were a part of a very prominent family. Like, people would assume that you had this amazing life, but the inside of that life was shit, absolute shit. And they were out for themselves, and you wanted a piece of the pie for yourself. So you said, this isn't serving me. So you left it, and you went and you did your own thing. And that was like, oh my God, how could you? You grew up in this family, and I'm a fucking slave, and blah, blah, blah. Like, same shit, different life. But there is an element that's maybe you are going a little 0, dark 30. If you are in the public eye, I just feel like it comes from you're tired of being judged and everybody having an opinion. Cowardly. I don't feel like you're a cowardly person, because that takes a very big big sack, if you will, to just say, hey, I don't want to do this, I'm going to do this. But I think what they're saying about cowardly is it takes you years to get to that point. It's like you cower to these people, and then all of a sudden, all the anger, all the things that you've been pushed down have become pouring out, and now you're looked at as a bully. Killer looks. So you're still very attractive, or you could have like very piercing eyes. You could make money off your looks. Or you're always uncomfortable with something about your appearance in every life. It's like you're always trying to make yourself look the best. I feel like there's like family wars. Like, you want to be more successful, you want to have more money, and if it's not that, it's like I will show you I can make something of myself for all the people who didn't believe in me. You could have been bullied. Prude. Yeah, good for you. You're still someone in this life that I feel like enjoys sex, but I think you've learned that from your past life. You went from a very promiscuous person who gave their energy and their body, and I feel like this would have been something repeated. Maybe you like got STDs or like big serious complications in your past lives, and it slowly taught you that quality is better than quantity, and then you learned that you are a rare energy and that you shouldn't be giving it out. So I feel like they're saying you learned that lesson. You're not a hoe for show no more. Good for you. Newsflash, we are all hoes. In every life we're a hoe. In my life I'm a prude. Like this lifetime I'm a serious prude, but in past lives I was like a hoe. Like dirty little hoe. For show. I saw some of my visions, I was like, ugh. But that's disgusting. But in our own defense, like, none of us knew about STDs or, like, would even think. Like, we were animals. And back in the day, we were animals. We didn't shower every day, you know what I mean? Like, we all fucking stunk. Bad. Like, there was no soap. So I'm watching it, and I'm just like... Because I'm a germaphobe too. So, God. Ew. And I was like, oh my God, you're going to get AIDS. From some of the things I was watching. I'll tell you, like, I saw one, and it was, I don't think it was ancient Egypt. I think it was, like, Persia or something. It's like a sex party, and it's like not just me, but every like lady there. It was like one would get off and the other one would get on, and the one would get out. I was like, oh, and so I was watching like, wake up, alarm, go off, oh my God, because you know if you're a germaphone, I'm terrified of AIDS. No offense to anyone who has it, but they would even tell me to be terrified of AIDS because that's how you prevent yourself from getting it. So to have to like watch it, I was like, this is so gross. I need a shower. I need to burn my vagina after this. I didn't even use mine. I was watching it. Good Lord. You could be a little bit of like a, I feel like in your past life, I don't know. I'll leave you to this side. I don't know if in your past you were a wallflower and didn't really like attention, and now you're like, loud and proud. Or if you were loud and proud then, and now you're like, no thank you. It's one way or the other. You lived in a structure, home, or castle. Yes. You could live near a castle. A castle on the hill is playing in my head. Dominant submissive relationship. So you could still be going after a relationship. You could be married. You could have married someone who's money based and got divorced. That's the same past life shit. This is a returning karmic. Oh dear. I guess this is a good place to get into your love life, huh? You have a repeating karmic that you marry and like get involved with, and they're very like 3D based. But this is a lesson in every life for you to learn love. Okay. I was going to get into your character. We'll sit on that for now. I'm going to get into your love life. Let's talk about you as like your insides, your inner character, not just what you did or what you were like, what you were truly like. Not like how people saw you. Walking back in the past. Your past life self. Start there. There's energy. The witch. You had spiritual gifts. You were a powerhouse. You were very in tune with spirit, and you used your gifts openly, and you were not shy. Number 33 as well. You were very divinely protected. People could feel the power about you. You even looked, you were a royal. You looked like it, and you had literal power. Probably why your siblings hated you, to be honest. Especially if you grew up in a royal family, and it's always 100% competition. Especially back then, they would kill each other for the seat, you know? I think that's another reason why you got out of it. You knew that if you stayed, I think your psychic insight showed you that you would be murdered because you were beloved. I feel like people were drawn to you and not the actual one who was born into the position. So let's talk about now. What's your energy like now? the Dawn. You are, to me, this is like a trendsetter, somebody here to make great change or shines a light on a new direction. You're still in a position of leadership. You're still in the public eye in some sense. Yeah, you're a truth. You're speaking the truth, shining lights on things and protecting your people. Still being that royal in the energy. How did people in your community see you in the past? Like, what was your personality? Like, these are your friends, co-workers, lovers, family members. Overall public opinion, if you're in the public eye. Does not surprise me at all. Okay, so the side hustler, the hanged man, the people around you saw you as somebody who took an opportunity that was best for yourself. The priest came up, so I feel like you made yourself untouchable to the competition, and this is what saved your life. Because I feel like your other siblings killed your other siblings. I feel like your uncles killed your aunts. Like, this is like a long history of family murder. Not pleasant in ancient Egypt. So you knew that if you took a position within the church and became like a high priestess, like a high monk, you would become a counsel to the king. The king would value you and not come for your head, because a person who was in power in the spiritual side would never be king. Like, there's an element of respect. I rule the people and you help me with the gods. So it's like, it's the one job where you get to live, and your whatever sibling that is the last one to live that gets the power needs you, depends on you. But this is also, people will listen to you and see you as a position of leadership. Even if you're not king or queen, you're a high priest, you're a high monk, you're still respected. So they saw you as somebody who wanted power and wanted a good life and found your way of doing that. You were very swift, very practical, and it's like, wow, like, you know, we might actually have a royal that lives longer than the king here. I did see you as somebody who was a player, very much party animal. Like, you would do your thing all day and you would have lovers all night. Sex parties were very prominent in those times. You're a very good lover. People wanted to sleep with you. But you were a gambler. You took a lot of risks, including in what you did for a living. It's like you were always trying to stay one step ahead of the curve, but for the time, it was because you had to. Like, your literal life depended on it. You were a royal, that you were born with a target on your back. So let's talk about now. How do people see you now as far as personality and character? The side hustler, still somebody like, literally you're the same fucking person off the grid. So you could be someone in the public eye and they see you as someone who's like not about it, just wants to go do their own thing, or walking away again from your family, doing your own thing, finding your own way to survive and evolve. Somebody who has to do things their own way. You're not going to do things the way that you're supposed to, and it would cause a lot of like, you know, and you're again still with the mentor though, still a teacher. You could be like a spiritual teacher, like a self-help person, mental health, anything like that. Activism, politician. What are you like now to the people in your life? Father in reverse. Liberator in reverse. Avenger in reverse. And Mother. It's like you're not trying to protect other people and you're not trying to liberate other people anymore. You're not out here saving the world. This is just about you and your family now. I feel like you've come to an evolution of you're always like the avenger, like people in your society, your family, anyone who is hurting, you would free them from their bondage. You would be their protector. You would nurture them. You would uplift. You would provide for them financially, physically, spiritually. You don't want to sacrifice yourself no more. It comes at too much of a cost. So now you're just focusing on your dreams and your family and being a parent. And you're like, fuck this. I don't feel like it's necessarily like they're saying you're a greedy motherfucker, but they're saying you've changed. It's all about love. You've healed. You've come through a lot, and like you're done. Like, I have sacrificed great pains. Like, maybe you are a father and mother here. Maybe you are married. Maybe you have kids, and you're just not about worrying about other people's crap anymore. Like, you've got your own fish to fry. Or maybe your evolution in life is, everybody has processes. Like, one life you're active and crusader, and you could either be a soldier, like somebody in the legal world fighting for change, or just somebody who's just like, "Arr!" And then you have lifetimes where you're just very passive and you don't care, and you're just very self-focused, and you build this great life for yourself, and you live in prosperity. And I feel like that's your pocket right now. You're not so much about helping the planet and the world, but helping your lineage to grow stronger. What healing things did you go through in your past life? You had a lot of dark evil around you. You were also a priest. I feel like people came to you with some very heavy shit, but you were in very dark times. You were a visionary. You saw the future, and you had to heal people from darkness, from the plague, from like literal murder in the streets, slavery. Like, this is very dark, horrific shit that you were helping people heal from. And I think your soul, honestly, is just so, I just got really tired. You're just so fucking tired still from the amount of shit you faced that you don't really want to help people as much. Or you're just very passive. You don't show your emotions. Amber, you had to learn a lot about relationships and about how you value them. You lost a lot of people that meant a lot, but you gained a lot of people that stayed and showed you what true love was. Citrine, healing from poverty. Put yourself and your family on the map. Carnelian, self-trust. Learning to love yourself has been the biggest lesson in all of your lifetimes. I feel like you always have body issues. You always feel like you're not good enough, like you're not working hard enough. But you're always a healer. You're always a part of a spiritual journey. Even when you try to fight it at first, you're always led back to being like the shaman, the spiritual healer. Anything else we need to know about your energy from the past, or what you did with that energy? Then we're going to get into your love life. Raven, prepare for change. Yeah, you saw the future. You were preparing the world for a better future. Monkey, experience all that life has to offer. This is about breaking away from, we're not just here to work and be slaves. Like, we got to love ourselves. We got to make families. We should have joy. Probably started a lot of traditions and holidays. Let's talk about now. Parrot, listen intently to understand. Good psychologist energy. You're good at listening. You're good at seeing between what people are really saying and seeing what we really need. You're more of a listener. In your past life, you were an activist, you were a speaker, you stepped up, you took control, and now you're just someone who kind of sits back and lets another leader take control, but you're always listening. You're always putting your 2 cents in, but you don't want to be the one that everybody's like looking at right now. You're trying to have your own life. You like the quieter fight this time around. Panda, stay balanced and in your essence. Yeah, you're tired. You're exhausted. You've had a lot of fights in your lives, like big, heavy ones, like breaking away from slavery, famine and disease, war, all of that. That can take a very big toll on someone's soul for lifetime after lifetime. So you're in this pocket of, I can't take on anymore. I just need to focus on myself. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you're going to build an amazing empire that withstands generations after generations in your family line. So let's talk about love. I'm going to use my deck I created from artwork on Google Images. I want to see what your... Well, first, did you even get married? Because you were a bit of a player in your past life. Let's see. Let's look at your past life first. What was love like in the past life? Chivalry. So you did... I feel like you fell in love with someone who was married or beyond your stature and you had to work for it. So you were this player and then you got kind of knocked on your ass and you had to fight for this love, as in court them and win their hand. I feel like it wasn't easy. I feel like this person was like, if you're very smart and like you came at them like all the other women, this woman would call, the woman or man would call you on it and be like, that bullshit might work on them, but it ain't gonna work on me. And it like impressed the fuck out of you. So I feel like I just see you stepping up. Like, this is how you learned what love was. Somebody made you work for it, and you did. Oh, you did. I see a little bit of chaser, and the player falls hard. It's cute though. Worthiness. Yeah. Look at this. Is this person like? No, you're not going to treat me like that. Like, why would I marry you? You sleep with the whole fucking village every week. Like, no. This is what I want. This is what I need. And you can't give me that, so bye. I want someone who treats me with my worth. So, you're like, what is this worth? Where do I get some? You never saw anyone who, like, respected themselves. You grew up very poor, and although you're smart, you're from rough neighborhoods. This one could have been like somebody who grew up with a good education, who grew up with manners and cleanliness, and is just like, ew, what are you doing? Like, called you on your shit. It made you see what love really is, because when this person said that, you're like, that makes a lot of sense. Nobody treated me like that. I want to treat you like that. What is this love thing? Woke you up, shook you up. You met a firecracker or a pistol. I like it. Resolving conflict. Okay, so this person, this could have been a friend. Like somebody that came in as a friend. I feel like they never gave a shit about telling you exactly what they felt or thought. And I think sometimes this highly pisses you off. And sometimes you were like, nobody ever talked to me like that, because you're like a royal. This person was probably like, I don't give a fuck. You're being an asshole. Or whatever it is, you know. And you're just like, I love that they treat me like a person, you know what I mean? Like, they just don't give a shit. This uniqueness is what you fell for. But your love, it's like it changed you. Remember what I said, you grew up in an important place, but you weren't ever important because you weren't born in the right number or in the right position. So you were just like another mouth to feed. You didn't know what genuine love was. This person slowly showed you like what you were doing was wrong about like just treating people like animals. Like, okay, I just put my stick inside you, now go away. You know what I mean? Like, be gone now. You know what I mean? You were a little bit like that, and not that you're like that now, but this person taught you humility and compassion and equal give and take. Boundaries, yeah. This person set some boundaries. Like, you can't be out here sleeping with everybody. Point blank period. It's me or nothing. So this took you off your player horse. Yeah. And you eventually earn this person's respect and prove to them that you could be trusted, that you aren't somebody that's just about sex. You know what I mean? You won the girl, you won the man. The divine masculine. So if you're the divine masculine, which I feel like you were in this life, This is you standing up into your true power of being a real gentleman, being somebody that could give them a real life. No more fuck boy, fuck girl energy. Oh, you had to because you got them pregnant. Like, this person made you a father who had children. Luminosity, yeah. When you became a parent, your whole life changed. Not only falling in love with this person made you see love differently, but this is what made you focus on teaching children. You have a child now. You want your child to grow up and live in a certain type of world. So now your fight amped up. Like, I need to change this for my kid. The sacred woman. Yeah. You loved this woman, because I feel like you're a man in this life, stole your heart, but and all for the right reasons. This woman walked through life with you. You might have even like worked when you were out there crusading. This person could have been out there with you, your wife and kids. Maturity. Yeah, this person made you wake up, helped you connect to spirit. You became truly spiritual. Yeah, true intimacy. It wasn't just sex for you. This was human connection, compatibility. You didn't want anybody else. You had to relearn. You were searching for love in all of those vajayjays and buttholes. You were sticking things in, because back then there was no like gay or anything like that. Sex parties were sex parties, from what I've seen. You know what I mean? So it's like, this person, yeah, they calmed you down. They settled you down. They were your one. The minute you met that person, no one else could top them. Like, even if you did have sex with someone else, it was just like, I feel nothing. And then you would go have sex with this woman that you loved and be like, ah! It did nothing ever. Like, even if, I'm not saying you cheated on this person, because I'm not getting those vibes, but it's like, either you just didn't want to anymore, or like before you got married, like you slept with this person and then you slept with someone else and you're like, yeah, I'm done. This is the only JJ I will ever want. Power of the P. For sure. All right, let's talk about your love life now. Yin and yang. So you could be with somebody who's complete opposite, or you found your balance again. Somebody who balances you out. Somebody who helps you with these restrictive feelings with sex. This could be opposite for you. Like, in your past life, you could have been very promiscuous, but you could have come into something with not a lot of experience, and you learned either a lot together, or this person taught you, or vice versa. Inner peace. Soulmates. Compatibility. I like it. Creativity. So yeah, again, referencing the same thing. You found somebody that balances you out, that makes you calm down. They might give you the freedom. This could be like an open relationship. Somebody who's just like you, that doesn't really care for monotony. It's not going to be true for everyone. But for the rest of you, this is the same storyline. You found someone that settled you down, that made you see your ways, that brought you peace. This is your other half. Friendship, compatibility, and you might even work together. Or it works because you're both allowed to have side pieces and you can still love each other. But you very much have a life purpose together, and that was very evident in both lives. You supported each other. Connection is popping. I feel like it's always like a strong sexual connection, but listen, we talked about karmic energy. So, let's talk about the karmic experience in your past life. Because obviously the one that you stayed married to wouldn't have been your karmic. So let's talk about your karmic in the past life. Oh my God. Same shit. So you're currently with a karmic then. Somebody you had a friendship with, open relationship, and it works for a long time because you're like buddies. Like you can like have crazy sex together and let your freak flags out. This person accepts that you aren't going to step down from your ways. They just want you in their life, so they're willing to tolerate it. They're low vibrational. Musical connection, or it's just a sexual connection. You could have had a baby with this person. I feel like you do have, this is a love, compatibility, inner peace, yin and yang, luminosity, worthiness. Literally, this is, they're describing your past life karmic as what you're in now. You think a strong sexual connection is love. This is the lesson you had to learn. Yes, you're compatible. Yes, you get along. Yes, you're strong friendship here, and it's not like a toxic relationship as far as that. And it's equal give and take in the sense of you have rules that you're both following. But I think either now or in your past, you started to see that it wasn't what you wanted. Like you wanted, when that person came into your life, that sacred woman, and stuck up to you and said, no, like, I don't compete. Like, I'm not going to share you. This is, like, I am all that in a bag of chips. I am all that somebody needs. That was, like, sexy as fuck. And it also woke you up. This hasn't happened to you yet in this life. You're with a soulmate. You're not with your life partner. But you are always having a child with this karmic. You have a child with a soulmate. And you're meant to have that connection so that child could be born. But it's always a sexual-based thing. It's always from like a lower vibrational feminine that just kind of like tolerates the masculines cheating, tolerates that they want side pieces, maybe just puts up with it for the money or the status or whatever. They're not resolving the conflict in the masculine's life of, you know, you have a life purpose and you got to snap out of it. Like back in your old life, you were a royal and people were just like throwing themselves. And it took that person waking you up to be like, look, you might have grown up this way, but that isn't a reason to treat people this way, or this isn't what love is. You say you love me and you say you want intimacy, but this is not it. And you're like, what is this maturity, right kind of love? And in figuring out what that is, and figuring out how to get this person back, is how you find your life purpose or a new life purpose. And it all happens in divine timing. So if it hasn't happened yet, don't worry. You're going to reparent yourself. You're going to get there. My hand's itching. And you're going to have babies, I feel like, with both the karmic and your person. So you might have more than one baby mama, baby daddy. But let's get some visuals. Let's talk about the karmic from your past life. Can you give me a visual on what the relationship is like with the karmic in the past life? We'll do a compare and contrast in each life for you. The karmic in the past life. I guess we're getting two. And the true love in the past life. What was the viewer's relationship with their true person? One more, make it fair. Okay, so this karmic tolerated you coming in and out of your life, or maybe you just didn't have, maybe you traveled a lot, you just didn't have a lot of time to give them. So they worked for you in that time in your life when you could only give them bits and pieces. And, you know, there's always a sexual connection here. Sex was never the problem. Intimacy was never the problem. Love was never the problem. The problem is you aren't willing to give up all your bad habits and your side pieces, and you don't truly feel like this person is home. It just works for you, it's comfortable, and it's good sex. But in comes the real person. Look at the difference. Wanting to comfort. This person trusting that they can curl into you. It's like an equal give and take. This seems happy, but look at this divine feminine. There's a distance. Closeness. Distance. The relationship is closer. It's deeper. It's more spiritual. It's a bigger meaning. And then you have a family. You might even have twins with this person, but look at you guys looking at each other, going through life together. This is a solid team because it's closer, because it's emotional, because it's true connection, and not like, oh, I'm going to have sex with you because I'm passing through town. You know what I mean? Let's talk about now. Let's talk about your karmic now. Give me visuals about your relationship with the karmic. Sorry, my nails are dirty. I was cleaning the house. Like spring cleaning. Like getting inside stuff and wiping it down. Still have to do this closet and that closet. Boo. Rome wasn't built in a day. And let's see the person that either maybe you know of and you're running from, or when they come in, what will it be like? Alright, so the karmic in your current life, this could be somebody who just is about status, looks good on your arm candy, a sexual vibe, you have fun together, you can party together, but it's not that deep. Like you're not going to die for this person, you know what I mean? The sex is great, you love hanging out with them, but it's just, look, it's just sex. Passion, yes. But look at this, here comes the person. You're playful, you have a friendship, you're silly, but you're also sexual. It's a deeper connection. The bond, like there's humor, there's laughter, there's compatibility. It's like, look, you guys live together and you're out somewhere doing something fun. Looks like you're always out doing something, coming and going. Same shit, different life. It's a deeper connection. It's a deeper bond. It's a stronger friendship. This is just like 3D sex base, nice arm candy type of thing. All right, to close out your reading, let's see what you absolutely needed to learn about your past life. And then we'll see what it carried into this life, what it brought for you into this evolution because you learned it. So let's back up to your past life. What lessons did you need to learn? Happiness. That happiness comes from within. That you can't seek validation through sex and work and money. Happiness comes from being with people who are true and for doing what you truly love to do. So I feel like in this lifetime, you learn to chase your happiness. As in, you might have grown up knowing what you wanted to do, and you always had that passion, you always chased it. Or you're just somebody who follows their happiness. Like if it makes you sad, you just ain't about it. You could just be a happy, bubbly person. You're not someone who's oppressed and miserable, smiley, good sense of humor. If it don't feel good, you don't want it. Past life lesson. Clarity. Seeing the truth, that true connection is what it's all about, and not just getting that comfort physically. You need the emotion behind the physical to be truly unconditionally loved. So love isn't just physical, as in you can't just show somebody you love by buying them things or having sex with them. Confidence. I feel like you learned confidence in your spiritual abilities. You could be strong in your confidence as far as sports or your business or your skill. Whatever you do for a living, you have confidence because of this past life, because I feel like you took a lot of shit. You were like a trendsetter, the first to do it, or you could have created a whole new profession. It's like you took so much shit in that life for doing what you do that you don't even have time to question your own gifts. Like, I know to an extent we all question our gifts, but deep down you know you got it. Whatever that thing is, you know you got it. And it came from this life. Anything else to close out this message? New beginnings and blessings. You're always meant to like have I'm not seeing like an extremely toxic relationship. It can be, but I feel like you're always meant to have the wrong relationship and maybe have kids with the wrong person before you find the right one. Or you could have kids later in life with the right one. But it's like you're always evolving. You're always inventing yourself. Even if you're known for one thing, I feel like you have a lot of side hustles that came out twice for you. You're just like a bit of a workaholic, I feel. But it's always to... That's weird. I'm here by myself. Anyway, 1 second. I don't know what that was. I just walked my whole apartment and I freaked myself out. Anyway, you're always evolving. You're always starting something new. You're like a trendsetter for sure. And it brings great blessings to your family line and to you. And you always seem to see your past. I feel like you see this past life a lot. If you are somebody who's very into past lives, yes, this is confirmation that you are seeing what is, like if you're seeing yourself in ancient Egypt, this is your life. You're a compassionate person because of all the things you learned in this past life. And your psychic abilities comes from ancient Egypt for sure, and it only evolves every time because you have a giant life purpose, and it's always centered around what you see with your third eye. So always follow it. That's your biggest take from all of this. You have a strong third eye, follow it in whatever lifetime you're in. If you take anything from this life that you can remember in the next, remember this: you're a powerhouse. Trust your third eye always. Anyway, I hope you like this. If you like the compare and contrast, because it is helpful to learn about yourself in this way, I can do more past life therapies for you if you would like. Let me know by hitting the thumbs up below. Tell me in the comments. If you like my energy, please subscribe. I am trying to grow my channel, but no pressure. I like to do things naturally. Anyway, see you all again soon. I go back to work tomorrow night, so... And, okay, so normally I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. So this week I have Thursday off. I had to go back to work on Friday for forced mandatory overtime. And then I have Saturday off. So I'm either going to do all the readings on Saturday or half of the readings on Thursday and half on, I'm not sure. So far it's only 2 weeks. I don't know if it's because we need to get caught up for Easter or if we just don't have enough workers or whatever it is. I'm not very happy with my job. They're going to get my full bitch in the face when I come in tomorrow. If they say anything to me, I don't care. Like, I'm so done with Amazon. And their shit. Anyway, I hope your Easter was good. It is spring now. Spring is in the air. And I hope it's a good one for you. And I cannot wait for summer. I just hope my body is smaller than it is now. Really trying hard for that bikini this year. This might be the year. I don't know. Last year I looked at my stomach and I was like, fuck no. 1 piece. Fuck no with the 2 piece. Nope, not happening. I'm 48. Oh my god. Hey, don't push it south. I'm 38, so I kind of feel like my bikini days might have sound. I'm still trying. Squatting it out. My abs hurt. And it's still chubby. I do not know how a person can do so many sit-ups and still... Hello? I'm so impatient. I'm the type of person that works out. Like, I'll do a full 2-hour session, and I'll go in the mirror, and I'm like, it's not hard yet. Oh, it doesn't look like I got any more muscle. It's been 2 hours. Calm down. We're not superhumans. It's not like you work out and like, bang, instant transformation. I would love that. I wish you could just walk in a machine and be like, come out with like your dream body. How much would that cost? I would save up for it. Anyway, I love you all. See you all again soon. Wish me luck at this work. My mouth might get me fired, but I have been with Amazon since July, the first week of July last year. And there is not many faces that are still there with me, that came in with me. So I feel like they're due some tea spill from somebody who's been there long enough to give them the goddamn tea spill. Push me around, motherfucker. Have we met? I am a goddess, and you're all gonna learn today. Don't have to be crazy. I'm not gonna scream. Those days have sound, but some truth's gonna come flying out their mouth when they try to yell at me, and they're not gonna know what to say to it. Because I'm right. I'm not being braggadocious. I'm genuinely 100% positively right. What the fuck can you say to me to make up for what you did? You broke the Constitution. I don't care what your stupid contract says. Nobody reads it when they sign it, and your contract doesn't trump the Constitution of the United States. I will wipe my ass with your contract. What country are you working out of right now? What country are you paying me out of? So you follow those fucking rules, Amazon. Maybe spend less money on spending your fucking asshole CEO to space and more money on treating your fucking employees better and paying us what we deserve. Maybe then you would keep people in the door. That pissed me off. Struggling, sweating my ass off at work every day for this motherfucker, tyrant, getting rich fat calf off these fucking slaves, which is me. We are not paid for the physicalness of our work and the quotas they expect. I could start any other factory job, more money than I make now. When I started there, it was a good paying job. Now it is the least paying job in the entire fucking city, and they want to up the quota. This is why they're getting full dark 30 when I go to work. Say something to me, motherfuckers. Anyone, I don't care. Whoever the sad soul is, that has to be the one that tells me, is getting it. I don't care. No holding back. My head is going to come up off my body like... Ah! It's going to happen. It's going to be amazing. It's been a good few years since I've had a full-on, battle. And I don't mean a scream match. I'm going to treat this motherfucker like there's a judge listening to me and we're in a courtroom. I'll argue every goddamn thing you tried to say. I'm going to eat you for breakfast. Say something, Amazon. I'm waiting. I really hope it's not someone I like. I can't hold it back no more. I don't care if it's just your job, you get an email that you have to come and talk to me. I don't care. Because you know what? your email back. This person flipped out and said, goes up to your little pissant fucker that went to space eventually. Even if I get fired or quit. And he'll probably wipe his ass with it because he don't give a shit about any of us. I hope you enjoy your trip to space. I would have loved a Christmas bonus over your fucking seat in a goddamn spacecraft that we put you on. Our sweat and tears put you on the fucking map. You treat us like shit. I hope everybody thinks about that when they order stuff from Amazon. They didn't give us an Easter. They refused all of our vacation. And they did forced mandatory overtime with no explanation as to why. I mean, they don't really have to. But, you know, you can't deny us on Easter. You know, you're refusing our religious privileges and then just be like, oh yeah, you have to work for 2 weeks. Why? Because you don't have enough staff? That ain't my fucking problem. Treat people better. Why do I have to give up my fucking time because you can't hack it as a business? You don't pay me enough to come in here on fucking Friday. I want $3,000 to come in here on Friday because you're all these little fucking new hires that get to come in our building. They're getting $3,000. Half for their first fucking paycheck and half after 90 days. And I can't quit and then go reapply tomorrow and get it. You have to have been away from the company for 90 days. And this is a limited edition thing. So anybody who's working there, as in me, who I've worked through both Prime Days and peak season in your very first big ass building, which basically I helped you work out all your fucking kinks and held it down through your fucking first big fucking season with the rest of us that are still there, and we ain't got $1 extra for the spine you fucking broke. And because you treat people like shit and you can't get people in the door, you're offering them $3,000. Meanwhile, we have been taking all of your shit. Meanwhile, everybody's walking out, but we're still here taking it, and you don't even offer us half. Have fun in space. I hope your oxygen goes out. For real. Not like to kill them, but just enough to be like for a second and then it works out. Because now you know how we feel in your sweatshop. Because nobody can figure out how to make it livable to work in your factory. Hot air rises. You have 5 levels. I shouldn't have to dress like it's fucking July all winter. This is not Malaysia. You can't treat people like this. Somebody needs to do something, and I'm probably going to lose my job for saying it, but I've been there longer than most people I've seen, you know? There's people that have been in the company for years. They can't say anything because they're bought out. They're now management. So, of course, they're paid enough to be quiet. I'm not paid enough to be quiet. I'm paid shit. So, I'm going to speak. You want to keep me quiet? You can pay me. Rock on, America. Rock on. If your boss is an asshole, there's other jobs. We can't afford to be quiet no more. Dicks. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. Toodaloos.